education is something we're all required to have, yet most of us take for granted. So how important is it in the big scheme of things? Some may say that it isn't of any value, that you can be just as successful without an education as somebody with the highest form of education possible. And while this may hold some sort of truth, I still believe that an education is in fact one of the most important factors of any success there is. Our generation as individuals and as a whole needs to start using our resources of information to create our own success instead of victimizing ourselves, thus taking our education for granted. I want to start off by talking about a little bit of the older generations and how their systems worked. They had to have more quality work. Like, they didn't get everything handed to them. They had to make everything for themselves. It had to be bigger, it had to be better. There were no exceptions, like electricity. They had phones, computers, televisions. They created that technology. We go off of everything that they did. We create our new technology off of everything that they already created. So the rates of success were higher because the stakes were higher for them. They didn't have anything handed to them. They just had to make their own opportunities and seize the opportunities that were also given to them. So what the education system has become in my eyes is like a conveyor belt learning system. We go to school more than they did in earlier generations, yet we learn only a small percentage of what they learned, and we get told that we don't have to have everything figured out yet, just get through with a good grade and fast. Get through fast and nobody asks any questions. We don't get to explore our individual talents and abilities. It's just the system versus the individual. We have to get shoved through the education system and come out just as dazed and confused as we were in the first place. It's less quality, all about timing. We have to get everything done quick, quick, quick. So my one question is, where are our leaders in this generation? We all realize where our generation is headed. Am I right? We're the last generation. Nobody knows what's going to happen to us. We don't educate ourselves on what's going on in the world. So what is our country going to look like? Don't you think we should all do something about it? I mean, you have to think about the people that risk everything. They walk miles and miles just to go to school so that they can provide for their families. And then they come to America and get our jobs because we still have no idea what we want to do because we just think that we have the time to figure it out. When in reality, we don't. We've used our lack of education as an excuse for settling in the realm of norms when we can just teach ourselves. We need to find our passions. We need to get to explore our talents and our abilities in order to find careers and build a better life for our country and be better leaders. I think that we need to use resources like the internet for things bigger than Facebook or Twitter or blogging or all that fun stuff. We need to read more books. Or talk to our elders, maybe, to know a little bit more about how they grew up, what their definitions of success are, using media, any kind of media, the internet, movies, plays, all that kind of stuff, the radio. Just get to learn more, educate yourselves, become more knowledgeable. Our generation needs to stop using excuses and realize that we're one generation away from completely ruining the foundations of this country and one generation away from rising up with completely new leadership that's just completely just cool and fun. But we need to come up with a leadership that seeks to gain knowledge and not settle for this system that we've so unfortunately been placed in. With no education, our generation is going to fail to govern this country in the way it was intended to be governed, and I think we need to step it up and realize the power that education can and will have only if we decide to pursue it.